Before you say anything, let me hit record. We are in good moods. We are happy girls.
Welcome back to the Cover to Cover Girls. We are your hosts, Hallie Bell
Michelle, hi everybody.
and this episode is all about Tessa Bailey's Fangirl Down.
Ooh,
Bow, 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 bow,
is this
chicka, bow, bow.
is this a brand new book?
This is a brand spanking new book.
Stop it. The sexual innuendos are never going to stop in this episode with Halle Bell.
And I am not going to I'm going to literally make everyone cringe because I
Ugh.
can't talk about this
Mm-mm.
topic
She can't.
without being obnoxious.
She cannot talk about spicy books without pretending that it's the 1800s.
I literally was describing because my husband, he's a very avid cover to cover girl, and was asking what this book was about. And he was saying how we had said Bridgerton. He was like, was it more spicy than Bridgerton? And I was like, yes, this is way more spicy than Bridgerton. And he was like, how so? And I was like, well, she has diabetes. First line.
For starters, it's I feel like we could talk about the spice for 30 straight minutes.
Oh my gosh. Well, do
Ugh.
you want to go ahead and give a summary of the book?
I was going to ask if you wanted to give a summary, but sure.
But I was going to ask if you would give a summary.
Okay, quick little summary. Actually, I should just read it straight from the back of the book.
Ooh,
That could be
perfect. Oof,
fun
what a
because
relief.
usually we don't have the physical books.
I
But,
just feel like the summary should start. Well, she has diabetes.
well, she has diabetes. Okay, here we go. Wells Whitaker, which I have a problem with his name, but we'll get back to that.
Oh,
Wells Whitaker was once golf's hottest rising star, but lately all he has to show for his promising career is a killer hangover, a collection of broken clubs, and one remaining supporter. No matter how bad he plays, the beautiful sunny redhead is always on the sidelines. He curses, she cheers. He scowls, she smiles. But when Wells, I'm sorry, I can't even read this. But when Wells quits in a blaze of glory and his fangirl finally goes home, he knows he made the greatest mistake of his life. Yada, yada, yada. Fangirl down. She becomes his caddy for the upcoming golf season.
and she has diabetes,
And she
type
has
1.
type 1 diabetes. He discovers that he actually has a soul. She is the best caddy in the world because her family is a golf family. They have a pro shop, which is literally located 7 minutes away from my home. I can't get past that. Like the whole
Now
book
that
takes place in my neighborhood.
this makes this pick worthwhile. I know that I
Yeah.
chose this book,
Mm-hmm.
and the whole time I was reading it, I was like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. We
But then
needed
I
a
was
book
like,
like this.
oh, well, at least it's interesting location wise.
No, it's crazy. So one of the places in this book is called Lone Pine Golf Course, and I could walk. I could literally walk. It's right across the street.
Wow.
And I called them months ago, probably like a year ago, and I said, "Hey, I want to get my husband a gift card to come because he used to love to go there." And they said, sorry, we can't do that. We're closing." And I said, "Oh, no, just like a physical or a gift card. Like I'll come pick it up later." And they said, "No, we're literally closing shop." And I was like, "Well, no wonder you won't even sell me a gift card."
Wait, so
So
are they
anyway,
closed now?
oh, they're permanently closed, but it's just hysterical to me that that's where this story takes
Aren't
place.
they going to open it back up? Is that why this book
No.
was written?
Hopefully it brings justice to Lone Pine Golf Course.
Man,
Man,
that's the spiciest thing in this book.
is it? Because I thought the shower scene was.
Don't. I can't even talk about.
You can't even talk about. Okay,
I have children.
okay. Thoughts on the over. Wait, I was gonna say thoughts on the plot, but have you've read other Tessa Bailey books, right?
Yes. And it happened one summer, changed my life. Like, not
Oh
like,
God.
oh, this book is so good, it changed my life. It was just more like it was one of my first really spicy novels. And I really connected with the guy. And
Ooh,
typically, because he's like what do I call him?
what are you
Trying to
calling him?
think.
A pee job?
He He's basically like an ornery
An
sailor.
ornery?
He is like the grumpiest fisherman around,
Ugh.
and he is very territorial of his love. And I just loved him so much that I was just like, I could like excuse anything else that was happening.
I think
But like, I have a harder time because one, I'm not into golf. Two, and it's not that I'm not into golf. Like if it's on, like I'll try to ask questions and connect with what's going on, but I just don't follow it. I know what the Masters is, the green jacket, the prestige. I like the class of the sport,
you
the
like the idea of it.
snacks, the golf carts. Like I'm fine with
The cute
everything, like
outfits.
the cute outfits. Like if I had a husband that was really into golf, I'm sure I could, find my place in that world. But it just didn't do. But like the fisherman, my husband fishes, so I was just like,
I'm sorry, I can't. Tessa Bailey is in this whole other world of like delusion, I think, and you're into it. You're into it.
I like the sweet story. Now this storyline
I'm like
just didn't.
sweating.
The storyline just didn't do it for me because I felt like they should have. So he like comes into her life because she is his fan. And they didn't like that's like a chapter of the book. Like
Hmm.
we really only see her be a fan for like a chapter. It would have
And
been
it's
funny to like
creepy.
drag that out for a couple of chapters.
Yeah.
And then they like only really do one tour or like one like match together. And then
Yeah.
they like have this big separation. And I just wasn't into that. I felt like they
No.
should keep going on more tours.
Yeah, but she couldn't because she was too busy worried
See,
about her money and her
that
pro shop.
objection that objection just wasn't a sound one for me. Like
It
I
wasn't
wasn't
from
like, "Oh yeah, that she really
no,
does have to go back." Like no, I was like,
no,
"It's the Masters. You
because
can
she's
open your shop a week later."
and she's making so much money caddying that why is she even worried about I don't know. I hope everyone who's listening to this, like I hope you've read it because we are not doing a great job of explaining.
Oh. I just
Now,
yeah, you've got to read it because I mean, otherwise like you won't get all of what we're about to say because
yeah.
there's going to be a lot of beating around the bush.
Yeah. Well, let me not beat around a bush and say that
Okay.
I have not once in my life ever cared about golf. And I was a golf country club kid. Like I went to golf camp and I hated golf. But this book single-handedly made me watch the entire Masters. I am the biggest Bryson
See?
DeChambeau fan. Like I am into golf now. Only for
And
a
can
minute. I'm
we
done with it.
say we
I'm
didn't
done with
even
it now though.
time this for to be relative to golf season, but here we are.
Here we are.
Destiny? Are you
I'm reading
calling?
exactly. I'm reading the last chapter of this book, and he's like hitting this golf ball at the Masters, and then I look up and the Masters is on the TV, and I'm
Masters.
like, I don't know how Halle Bell picked this book so perfectly,
I don't
but
know.
it's
It's meant to
insane.
be.
It's meant to be, but
Just like Josephine and Wells.
I I can't even I had to look at their names because I didn't even remember. And
No, I remember because I listened to this book.
I did
I
too.
didn't read the physical copy,
Me either.
but the audiobook reader, the way that she says Josephine
Ugh.
in, it's the way she says Josephine in Wells's voice that just really like,
It's
ooh,
so
yikes.
horrible. It's so horrible, but also as horrible as that is, what's even worse is the nickname Wells's Bell.
Wells's Bell, because then it's like a take on my name, and it's
Yeah.
just like,
Well, what else did you think about the overall plot of the book? Or did you
I
just could you not get behind it because of the golf?
I really did wish that there was more golf. I wish that the plot was like more about them going on the tours
Yeah.
because we really only get the first one. I don't even know what it was called. And then they like take that big break and then it's like the Masters.
And yeah, and also why are they in such a horrible fight? They met 2 minutes ago.
And that was the other thing. I just couldn't get behind the guy because I felt like he was just so toxic. I just didn't.
100%.
And in the epilogue, it's like they've been married 8 years and have 2 kids. I was just like, in no world. And I hope all young women out there really hear me out when I say, like, this kind of guy is just not
And
ever gonna
also,
be.
no. And also, if you are someone's biggest fan and you are watching them throw temper tantrums and curse at the media and scream profanities and then tell you that they love you, that's not the guy for you.
It's just, he's not the guy for anybody.
No,
And
no, no, no.
Josephine was not the girl for anyone.
No.
Because she was just very, I felt like emotionally manipulative in
Yeah,
some
yeah.
senses. And I guess like maybe they'd work because they're both really toxic. Um, but I just feel like he was just, I mean, they had only been together a month and a half. It literally references that at the by the end.
Yeah.
And they had just been up and down so much and they had a lot of them, like Tessa Bailey. What I love about her books is she like builds like this emotional connection between the characters and then has them do indescribable things together. I think because it's for women, so it's like
Yeah,
women need that emotional connection for like the sexual content to be like
for sure.
justified. And I appreciate that about her. And she's
Yeah.
always like uh always making sure that they have safe sex
Oh
like
my
before
God.
every scene, like it's like explicitly said. But I love that because it's like young
Yeah,
girls are reading her book
yeah,
and like talking about protection can be sexy. Like I guess she's
yeah,
just trying to make it that way.
yeah. It's
um
definitely beneficial.
but she really did fail at like making this like
Good?
even tangible love story.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't get behind the love story because they were both so toxic. Just so toxic. Now, you know
Oh,
which
go
love
ahead.
story I can get behind is the best friends, the hockey player and her friend from Antarctica.
Which they never closed that chapter.
Nope. And that better be her next book because I'm gonna read it.
I think that's going to be her next book because she did that with It Happened One Summer and then Hook, Line, and Sinker.
Yes,
Is they go together. So I really hope she does that with this because I am interested in that. But
me
also
too.
Tallulah, she's not a
Tallulah.
great friend
No.
because when she comes back, I mean, like she doesn't believe her one that she got a new job. Wait, pin that for a second. I'm going to pin that up on a clipboard and go to the most realistic part of this book is the parents.
Oh yeah. The
The
parents are like,
southern
honey,
parents.
calm down.
No, and she's like, they're not going to believe me that I got this job. And like she literally goes to the tournament with them not believing her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that could have happened to me.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
So I really did like that. But then when the parents catch them in the act,
Oh,
you couldn't go to the brunch after that.
no, 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 no. I listened to this book as well, and I had to stop. I couldn't listen to that whole scene in one setting because it was just so horrible. And it's like that's not what's actually happening. You're not going to brunch, like, and then
No.
they're like finagling under the table or whatever, and I'm like, this isn't real life. Maybe it is,
And
not for
I
me.
mean, and I like the fantasy of it is like good, but like not fantasy in front of parents.
Yeah, yeah. And the parents, my dad would have been like, we're not, I'd go. And then they fought over the bill. I'd be like, let him pay.
Oh my gosh. Like my parents would literally be like, this guy's an animal. Like
Halle Bell, you have two kids.
she would never, my mom would just never be for this guy ever.
No, no,
And
never.
like, and when he's on bad behavior while she's away,
Oh,
like, and she's like coming back and like she's getting calls from his like agent or whatever.
yeah.
And I'm like, and like he surprises her with Tallulah, which I'm gonna clip off the clipboard here in a second. But like when he surprises her with Tallulah, I just would have been still mad.
Mm-hmm.
I would not have been able to be like,
It's
oh my friend. And then
it's the no, it's the fact that the manager called and said, "We need you." This grown man. is acting like a baby. That should have been a red flag. That this
That's
he
called
can't.
codependency.
It's called
And that
codependency.
because like he needs her to like regulate his emotions.
Ew.
And like he's like visibly upset when she sees him playing in the Masters, and she's just like, oh, I guess I better get there for the last hole.
It's codependency and it's emotional immaturity.
And I actually feel disappointed because Tessa Bailey does a really good job about talking about emotions and like having men connect with the female characters and what females go through. Like she like
hmm
displays those conversations, and she typically does a very good job, but I did feel like there was a lot of like, whoa, that's not.
No, the only part that I will agree with you that she did that is how much this guy Wells cared about her diabetes. Like this guy
Yes.
was the poster child for diabetes awareness.
And
Like,
someone in a review on Goodreads started out their review like, this book shows the corrupt nature of the American healthcare system. And I was like, this is how I would start. Like, that was really one of the one things that I was kind of interested in, was like actually learning it, which I appreciate because she does such a great job of drawing like these niche issues to the
yeah,
forefront. And I was like, this is awesome, helping like a type 1 diabetes girl out there feel sexy. And like her
yeah,
diabetes is important and like people care.
yeah, and he cares. Yeah,
And some of
man.
the corruption, I guess, that goes on with the medicine and that sort of thing, and how expensive it is, which is just like disgraceful.
hmm
Um, and how she could barely afford to keep her health. I mean, it really does draw a lot of
Yeah.
attention to those issues. And but while the next chapter they're like ravaging.
Halliwell cannot seriously talk about the spicy scenes. And I just want to say, this is like the least spicy book I've read in so long
Are
because
you serious?
Halliwell,
This is the most spicy I've read in a long since probably
I
at Everyone's Summer.
I read well, that's not true because like Rabbit Hole and Bridgerton are definitely less spicy, but like the dark mafia books that I read are so much worse than this. And Halle Bell's like, I can't even say it.
I mean, he's
He's
really like
spicy.
he's spicy and
Like,
he's like very commanding,
mm-hmm.
and typically I like that type of thing, but I just felt like every time he did it I was like, but
Calm
like, do
down.
you really like respect her
Yeah, yeah.
and yourself?
But then there's the shower scene. And does anyone respect anyone in that?
And we're like, Wells, are you gay?
I don't, what's going on? I
What's
don't know.
going on? So many people started their review with that.
Seriously?
Yes, with that scene. They
Well,
were like, I couldn't get past this. I couldn't get past it. I'm not going to say it on here because I do have children,
look,
but you can go on Goodreads and see what people are talking about, because she
it's
goes there with these
she goes,
characters, which I just don't think these characters would go there.
no, I don't
And
think
that was
so.
what it was.
But maybe that's the fun part about it because they don't seem like they would go there. And then they do.
How
I don't
many
know.
people around us go there and you just don't even know?
Exactly. Exactly. That's the thing. That's the thing.
It makes you wonder.
It really
I
does.
mean, I don't know. Like, this relationship, fast forward a year, where are they at for me? Like,
Mm-hmm.
she
Look,
had me in It Happened One Summer. I'm like, these are ride or die. These are loves of their lives.
wow.
I mean, it's so, so good. Like,
Mm-hmm. I should have read it. I should have read it before
I
this.
told you it was your home.
Really,
I told
Halle
you I'd
Bell?
be coming around to your desk.
Really? When did you finish this book? Tell the
Literally,
people.
I had 30 minutes left. It, this was just such a painful read for me to like pick back up. Not that it wasn't even that painful. It was just more like I didn't fly through it.
No, no.
It really starts out slow, and then like it didn't go where I wanted it to go. And then
Mm-mm.
like I knew he was gonna win the Masters, and I was just like, what's the point of finishing this 30 minutes? Like, I actually finished it. Oh, Tallulah. Let me get her off my clipboard.
Yeah,
Um, I really wanted to see what shook out, but she never
with
mentions Tallulah
her
again.
babysitting, with her nanny gig.
It's got to be the next book
It
because
has
there's
to be.
no way she just like totally left that up.
I'm about to
Like
message Tessa Bailey right this very second.
I could.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Well, what do you think about the spies compared to what you've been reading since you're
The
our spicy reader?
I am a spicy reader. And I just don't think it was well written. Like this,
Mm.
the
You
way
didn't
they,
like what they said to each other?
I didn't like how they talked to each other because I don't think, like, maybe it's just me. I don't know. I don't think 25-year-old, 26-year-old girls are actually saying those things. I don't know. Like,
Hmm.
specific words that she says, for instance, maybe I'm getting this book completely mixed up with another one, but I'm like, I very well could be. I read this book 3 months ago, but
You did
I
not
don't
read
know.
it 3 months ago. It was like
It was
one
like
month ago.
2 weeks ago. Not that 25-year-old girls aren't saying these things because I've definitely said some questionable things, you know, but it was just the dialogue between them. And it just wasn't believable. That was the thing for me. It wasn't believable. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It was fun. I enjoyed it, but I think I also would have enjoyed it a lot more if I was reading the physical book instead of listening to it.
Maybe because you could have like spared yourself the audiobook reader and like
Ugh.
I mean I empathize with her because there's no way I could read this book aloud.
No.
Like, could you imagine being the audiobook reader for this?
No.
No.
Not at
So
all.
I give her some kudos because she did her best. But it's just really cringe. I will say that I am a tennis girly, and
Mhm.
if you guys have followed along with Netflix's On Point, it's like a tennis docu-series of all the hot
Ooh.
tennis players.
Ooh.
And this guy is really, really ringing Kyrgios. If you guys are tennis fans, he's like the
Ooh.
bad boy of tennis. He
Ooh.
breaks rackets
Oh,
and
I'm
like
interested.
he is a bad guy. But like
Mm.
he like he did really, really good in a lot of
Mhm.
tournaments. I don't know if he's won a major tournament. I probably he has. I mean, like he's good. But
Yeah.
then he's taken this extended break due to like all these injuries and stuff, and people are like he's lost it, like kind of like Wells. Like he
Yeah.
really is a lot like Wells. And he has an Instagram girlfriend that he, like a month before the On Point Netflix series started, they started dating. They had only been dating a month. And
Oh
he
my
like
god.
fully brought her on. And he's like, this is my wife.
Oh my god.
Not that they got married, but like they are literally, and he comments on every photo she posts, like, that's my girl. Like
Wow.
they are the
Wait,
real life story. And then
it's exactly like them.
it's just like this. And then there's another couple duo that's on that series that I follow, Taylor Fritz and
Mhm.
Morgan. She's on Instagram. She's an influencer, but they didn't meet that way. I don't know. She's been his girlfriend for a long time, like 9 years, and she's like full on tennis wifey. Like
Yeah.
she is
Yeah,
at
yeah.
every tournament front row. And it kind of reminded me of them, even though Taylor's not like really a bad boy, but
Yeah.
Kyrgios is. So there's a little
Ooh.
tennis back. I mean, tennis and golf, right?
They're kind of the same, if you ask me. It's the cute outfits and the bracelets.
It's the cute outfits, it's the skirts. Like honestly, when they were talking about the outfits, and I know that they were like all supposed to be like so sexy, I was like, I need more golf skirts.
Yeah. I was like, should I go golfing right now?
Should I wear a visor out today?
And then there's me turning on the Masters, and I'm like, is that a birdie? What does that mean?
And here's the thing about golf, and I know this is gonna make a lot of golf people cringe,
As
but
wait,
like when
pause. As if any golfers are listening to this podcast.
I'm sorry if you are. Um, a par, it just means average. Like, and like it's supposed to be like a good thing.
I guess.
Like, and then there's two above average, like a birdie and an eagle. Oh, and then a hole in one.
Yeah.
Do people actually get holes in ones? Like,
Not often.
I mean, it's hard, right? It's got to be like one in a
It's
million.
got to be, it's just luck.
I mean, he doesn't make any one in hole in ones in this book,
No,
but like
he's not
if he
that
did,
good.
I would have been like, wow.
If he would have made a hole in one, I would have shut the book. I would have turned off the audiobook and I would have thrown the book across the room because that the book was already so unbelievable and unrealistic, and a hole in one, Allie Bell, would have pushed me to my breaking point.
To win the Masters. Could you imagine?
But what did he do? It wasn't a hole in one, but it was like pretty significant at the
I
end, and
think
I
it
was
was an
like,
eagle, which
"Ye-
means
I'm about to
a
look. Maybe,
stroke. It was a stroke and then a goal, or
yeah.
like a put it in.
Ugh.
Which some I feel like some courses are just you can't get a hole in one.
I just don't believe that it ever really happens. I think it's the wind. I think it's birds pushing the ball into the hole. I don't know.
Were some of the people were some of the guys in this book like are they real? I was like wondering that while I was reading it, but like didn't have the mental energy to like Google some of the names.
Wait, were any of them real?
I don't know. Like I felt like like the Buck guy, like
Who? Oh,
Buck,
Buck.
he kind of sounds like real.
He seems like he could be real, but I don't think he is. I don't know. We really should have done more research.
We should have done, but that's the thing. I just couldn't. I mean, I feel like there's some people that are gonna leave from this book and be like, "I'm a golf girly. I'm gonna look all these people up." But like, I just didn't have that motivation.
No, I didn't care enough.
But you turned on the
I
Masters.
cared enough to turn it on because I realized how funny golfers are, not from this book, but from TikTok. Like
Oh yeah,
some of these golf boys are hysterical, and they also realize that it's just a silly sport. You know,
it's
they're
a
like,
cheeky sport.
yeah,
Yeah,
we get paid to do this. Like
and like try to get this tiny ball in miles of court. Like
miles of court. We are delusional. We're delusional.
this is so cringe to
Oh
say
God.
to anyone that knows relative golf.
Knows anything about golf. Okay,
I did
let's
feel like I learned a little
no, I
about
think I
golf.
did enough to make me want to watch it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, what do you think about Tessa Bailey's writing in general?
I like that other book, and I I just like how she's trying to write these books and reach young women and like
Mm-hmm.
give them the steam but also value an emotional connection. She doesn't do like one night stands, like that's just not her thing.
Yeah.
And like I think she makes she really does try.
Yeah.
And like this one just didn't succeed in like developing that, like making the man respectful.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
tried. And
Yeah.
I like she just I think her books are like a mission for like a pleasure read and to tell girls there's something more out there
Yeah.
than
I
just
don't
your
think she's
deadbeat guy.
yeah. But I don't think she's taking like the writing too seriously. You know, like
No.
there's a purpose. There's a purpose, but it's also at the end of the day it is just a, a romance for young girls, you know?
I mean, fresh off Bridgerton, it's just not fair because it was just Bridgerton is just so
Perfect?
it's just awesome writing. Like it's
Yeah.
just amazing writing. And this is like modern slang and
Yeah.
whatnot. Um, but she gave it a good effort.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for my first Tessa Bailey, it was exactly what I expected it to be, and that's
Well,
fine. That's it.
and there you have it.
And
It's
there you have
fine.
it. And that's the end of the episode. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Oh my
I
goodness.
mean, it was steamy for me. Like I felt like, I got butterflies in some scenes. And then other scenes I
For
was
sure.
just like, just close the door. I don't
Yeah.
want to hear it.
Yeah. I liked the spice. I really did. I just like the thing I can't ever get behind in spicy books is like the descriptive words. Like,
Yeah.
We're
because
not
those are
actually
words that
calling it that, you know?
no one's actually calling it any
And
of
if you
those.
are, if you're calling it that, I am so sorry. Like,
I don't like hearing the C word. And that is a prevalent word in this book.
the boy C word or the girl C word?
Mm.
Maybe
Oh, the
both.
girl C word.
Oh,
He like
okay.
uses it as like a curse word in like some senses, like when he's golfing. And I just like, I'm like,
Ugh, see, I don't like the
oh,
boy C word either because I don't feel like we're actually calling it that. I don't know. I don't know.
yeah,
Maybe we are.
no, no, we're not.
Well, we aren't because
The
apparently
cover to
we're the
cover girls.
we are calling them by their biological terms.
We're shutting the door,
It's the
not
shoulders.
letting
Every time
anyone
Halliwell
in.
talks about spicy scenes, she does this little shoulder dance.
Goodbye.
She's like, "You guys go, do that."
I'm gonna go over here and pretend it's not happening.
Yeah. Now, I have a hot take, and it's not about
Okay.
it being spicy. This is completely off subject,
Oh,
but
good. I'm happy.
you're like, thank God. I typically try to read books that I think would be good book club books because I really like to post like book club questions and stuff like that. I think this book would be a terrible book club book.
It's a terrible book club book.
Don't read it. If you're a book club, don't pick this book. Go read it by yourself.
Read these are books to read by yourself. I think It Happened One Summer could definitely be a book club book. Um, but not. I mean, the title should have given us some warning, but I was just like, Tessa Bailey, I just felt like she was blowing up. This is why I picked it. I felt like everyone's going to read this book. This
Yeah.
is something that you maybe text your girlfriends about, but you don't have a full on club.
Yeah, definitely.
You
I
know,
agree. Yeah. You don't sit here and talk about it for an hour like we are.
40 minutes.
I think we should have known by this, the cover.
Now, this scene in the book is cute.
What
She
was it?
gets
Oh,
up
when
on
she's
his
looking at
back
the,
and she's
oh,
like looking to see if she can spy. So, is that a rule? Like, you can't walk and see what it's going to be like?
no, I think you can a little bit, but I think this was just, I didn't even realize that this is what that, it was portraying that scene, but now it makes
I was
sense.
happy that it just wasn't a generic cover. Like, that's an actual scene from the book.
Yeah, I didn't realize that, but I really like that.
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
cute. Like,
It's,
cause like
it,
in most of those books, like it's just not even like have anything to do with what's going
no.
on. But like that actually happened in the book.
Yeah. I think they can though. I think they're allowed to like walk around and like peek at the green.
I feel like there's a limit, like because he was like a kid and she's like, you need to visualize what you think it'll look like. And
Now,
I'm like,
let me say, I could get behind the development that
mm,
I keep calling her Joey. That's not her name, but that's her nickname.
Joe's, but that could be her nickname.
Joey Rue, remember?
That would have been really good for them just to refer to her as that
Yeah. I just had
through the
sorry,
book.
I also just had to peel off the 20% sticker so that everyone could get a full view.
That's the
But
thing. It's already on
it's
sale.
already on sale. This is a
Oh
20%
dear.
off book, but
But a lot of people are reading it. I mean, it's got an overall 4 stars on Goodread. That's pretty good.
it is good. Um,
Why are people?
what's wrong with you people? No, I'm kidding.
I'm sorry, I picked this book.
The thing I can get behind is how she brought to life. I was a sports management major, and
Oh yeah,
she brought to life women in male dominated industry, and I liked
yeah.
that because at the end of the book, all the other caddies and Buck are like, "Oh my gosh, she is so smart. She knows so much about golf," and well, she wasn't getting the recognition she deserved, and she was out here the whole reason he was winning. And then he split the profits 50-50. I was like, that now that's what women
Well,
in sports deserve, I guess.
but then she goes and golfs with him, and it's like their first time golfing together.
Ugh, yeah.
And she hits her first stroke, and then he's like, "We gotta leave now." And like they had like made this big deal about like he was like, "Oh, we're gonna be able to take our time later on. We're gonna play this round of golf." And I was just like, but the whole point was for you to get to see how good she is at golf, and she only got to hit one hit.
Yeah, but
Like,
they
shouldn't
didn't.
he build amazement as she goes on? Like, and is she really that good, or was that just a lucky shot?
Or were you just saying that because you're trying to get in her pants? I don't know.
Mm,
Maybe.
um,
But I believe that she is a better golfer than he is.
I believe it for sure
Hmm.
because of just the way that she was talking, and I don't know, like, and like I thought that it would might go like at one point, like she's going to develop her own personal golf career.
That's what I thought. I thought that at one point, like, she would take over, and I learned at this point that there are two separate, like, masters, I guess. Because I was like, why can't girls
Oh,
participate? And one of my
yeah.
coworkers, he was a professional golfer, and I was like, what's the
Oh,
situation? And he was like, they
yeah.
have their own thing. And I was like,
Oh,
oh, well, I didn't know that.
she should have gone down that trail, and like I just felt like the shop like wasn't just a good enough excuse. Like, be even being a caddy is better being than being a shop owner. Sorry, I
Say it.
said
Say
what
your
I
piece.
said.
Say your piece, Abigail.
I just felt like I'm like her parents like dumping this shop on her and this burden of responsibility.
Well, and then even when the shop is up and running and it's 8 years later and yada yada, the reason that the shop is doing so well is because
It's
he
because
has
of
his,
his career.
yeah, he has his clubs like framed on the wall.
Yeah. And to me, I'm like, okay,
What about her, the best caddy of all time? I don't know.
what about best caddy of all time? What about best woman's master winner of
Yeah,
all time? Josephine.
Joey Rue. Ugh.
Joey Rue.
Hmm.
Yeah, makes you think.
It really makes you think, makes you watch golf, I guess. So
Or in other terms, doesn't make you think at all.
it was just like such perfect timing. I can't get past that. It was such perfect timing.
It just, it's a spring. We're going into spring, and this is your
Hmm.
first spring read. Like, just warming you up for summer reading, and it's not gonna be like something you come back to in the summer, but it's
Mm-mm.
warming you up. It's a warm up.
Yeah, that's exactly what this book is.
All right, go ahead and rate it.
Well, according to Halle Bell, I rated this book on Goodreads 12 days ago, which means that I have no recollection of what I rated it.
She doesn't
So,
remember.
looking back, I think that I would have given this book a 3.
You did.
Okay, okay. Now,
Wow. Okay,
did I
you're.
leave did I leave any comments?
Oh yeah, you read. You wrote. Gonna cover this on the cover to cover girls book.
Okay, my 3 stars is because I don't completely hate her writing. I
Mm.
did like the character development to what it was. I
Mhm.
The plot was fine. It was good for what it is, like an easy peasy spicy rom-com.
Mhm.
And I think that's it. But I wouldn't read it again, and I'm not itching to read another book by her, but maybe I
But you
will.
referred it to a friend. Didn't you refer it to a friend?
Oh, I did refer to Jordan, and unfortunately, she didn't read it. She
Oh
didn't
man.
read it because she said it wasn't on Kindle Unlimited. She was like, I'm not paying for a book that you gave 3 stars. And I was like, true.
Good point.
Good point. I can't argue. Okay,
Um,
what are you rating
why
it
don't you
since you
give her your
just finished
target
it?
cover? Okay, well, I'm gonna give it 2 stars because I'm gonna be
Oh,
harsh on Tessa Bailey because I know she can do better.
whoa, a
Am I a
plot
toxic
twist.
mom? Yes.
A plot twist.
I just know she can do better. Like, It Happened One Summers was like a 4-star book for me.
Really?
Yeah, and I know that she can do better, and I get where she was going with this, but like I feel like she didn't take her time writing this.
Yeah. Yeah, it did feel very rushed.
It felt rushed, and she didn't even circle back with Tallulah.
No, every scene felt very like back of the napkin, like, hurry, let's get this out.
Yeah, and like she spent a lot of times being descriptive in the spicy scenes and like in the emotional dialogue of like what they were talking about, but then like the extraneous details felt like the golf aspects just felt like not well
No.
researched. And
Yeah.
especially because this place is closed down and they're not having a reopening. Like, is she trying to hope for a reopening? Like,
Yeah. I can't I yeah.
I think if we were talking to Tessa Bailey, like I would just I think there would be some answers that she could give me that could qualify and like maybe make my rating go up, like if she could explain, but just as a cold read with no background from her, it's a
I
2.
think no, I think if she has to explain it, the score shouldn't change. Sorry.
Sorry. She said what she said.
More importantly,
Oh yeah.
moving on to what else Halle Bell is reading. Go for it.
And we're gonna do an episode on this, Dune.
Wow.
It so you watched both movies, right?
Yeah, and I have some thoughts.
Okay, go ahead.
And I told Halle Bell we should only allocate 5 minutes because I think we should do another like shorter episode on this, but I hate to say it, I fell asleep multiple times in both movies, and I did see Dune 2 in theaters.
For
And I
shame.
and I fell asleep. But you know why I fell
But
asleep
you
was
picked
because
a 10 p.m.
I picked
movie
a
time.
10:15 movie time at the Boca I pick, which literally gives you blankets, wine,
You're
pillows.
gonna fall asleep
You're gonna
anyways in that
you're
setting.
bound to fall asleep. But I just I I but I fell
The
asleep during the
book,
first. It took me days to finish the first Dune.
the book is so good.
Is
I
it?
just love the aspects. I am so in. Like,
I'm into
d-
it. It just
don't give
didn't
me
keep me.
Wells Whitaker. Give me Timothy Chalamet.
Give me Timmy Shalley all day.
I in that last movie when he is like, I am the what
Yeah.
is it? Kwisatz Haderach. I
Oh,
am just like, whoa. Yes,
Hallie's like,
I.
this is my spicy scene.
This is my spicy scene for real. And like when he just like drinks that poison like nothing.
Oh, I was
That's
asleep during that.
he's just so like he became a man in that movie, and the books are just they're very different. Like it's not Timothy Chalamet definitely takes the character in a different direction.
Mm.
Um, and I'm just quite enjoying like the world of Dune. Like it's just
Ooh.
so submersive, and I can't wait to like just keep going and getting into all the other. There's
Wow.
like 5 other ones. This is going to be the new Harry Potter.
Y-
Everyone mark my words.
Yeah, you said that weeks ago.
I said this weeks ago. It's blowing. I mean, it was literally like the movie theater here was like sold out for 3, 4 weekends in a
Yeah.
row.
Yeah.
And I just think people like kids are gonna it's just it's like Harry Potter in which it is a whole world that you have to understand.
Mm-hmm.
And there's several like different journeys you can go down. Like the houses in Gryffindor, like
Yeah.
there's different like you've got the Bene Gesserits, you've got the
Yeah.
Empire, and then even in the books that you've got like this entity that owns the spice, or that it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't own the spice. It's the like space guild, so it like uses the spice. It controls all the space travel. Anyways, not to ramble on about that, but
No, we're gonna ramble on at some
we're gonna
point.
ramble on. I
At
just
some point when I read the
everyone mark my
books.
words. I just want to say here, this is the new Harry Potter, and I know
Wow.
these books were written as several years ago, but they are just so relevant to real world what's going on right now. And the
Ooh.
movies, I think the characters that they picked, the people that they casted are just going to take it where it
I
needs to go.
the cast
Yeah,
phenomenal. And I realized as I was leaving the theater, I was looking up the cast and I was like, I literally said out loud, at what point was Austin Butler in this movie?
that's how transformative. People
It's
said he
crazy.
couldn't leave Elvis, and then there he was being a psycho.
And
I mean,
I didn't even recognize
crazy.
him. I literally, if I wouldn't have looked up the cast, I would have never known.
I mean,
Crazy.
he really, really transforms.
Crazy. Yeah,
I just can't wait. I can't wait to talk about it. I won't
I've
bore
got to read
everyone
it.
with it because like if you don't care about Dune, then like, don't listen to that episode, but like we're gonna get
How
into
long?
it.
Yeah, how long are the books?
They're pretty long. And the movies part one and part two are the first book.
Oh, yes, you
So
told me
it's not
that.
like one is one book
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then the
yeah.
others it's just one book. And like I'm
Huh.
almost finished with
With
the first book, and it's taken us like 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Like
you've been reading
listening,
it
but
for a
like we're
while.
only listening like 30, 40 minutes at a time.
Oh, okay. Are you only listening or are you reading too?
We're only listening and at nighttime when we have nothing else going on. So it's
Yeah.
like been very spaced out, but like as soon as we start listening to it, I'm like back in it and I'm like I know
Ooh,
exactly where I am. I know exactly what scene's taking place. Like it's that
crap.
submersive. Like when it's in juxtaposition when I was reading this I had to like keep rewinding. I'm like,
Yeah, me
wait,
too.
where was what's going on? And then
Me.
like listening to like this type of book on audiobook and you're like rewinding and it's like comes upon a steamy scene and like just like oh
Let me
god.
not.
It's so embarrassing. Like you have to have headphones.
Oh my God. Let me ask you, did you ever read the books, like the Twisted Love series?
No. Of
I see,
course not.
of course not. Why would you? I'm listening to that right now, and I can't decide which one's worse, this or that. But it's the same. It's just like
Wow.
it's a steamy romance, and I made the mistake. I have both of them physically, but I made the mistake of listening to both of them.
I think that this one was nice for me because I haven't read a steamy read in a while. And like
Yeah.
it if you just read that over and over and over, like that type of book, like the
Yeah.
steam just like doesn't hit you the same. Like
No.
you've gotta space out your steamy reads.
With Dune.
With Dune.
Dune, spicy book. Dune,
Listen,
spicy book.
there is some love scenes in Dune.
Is there?
Dean.
Is there? There's spice and there's spice. Ooh, that's
There's
funny.
some love
There's
scenes.
spice and
There's
spice.
spice. My kind of spice.
I didn't know that between him
Okay.
and Zendaya. I gotta read it. I gotta read it.
You gotta read it. Gotta read it. Um.
Wow.
Anyways, that's all,
Uh,
folks.
I I don't even know what our next book is gonna be.
I have some thoughts. Emily Henry has a new book out.
Cry me a
Um,
river.
I really want to read it, and I think everybody's
Is
gonna
it
read
funny
it. But it
story?
is your turn, so balls in your court.
Oh crap. Okay, I'll read an Emily Henry. I just hated Happy Place, but I'll read it.
Some of her books I like.
Okay. Is it funny story?
Yes,
Yeah, that one
it
is
is funny
blowing
story.
up right now.
It's
Okay,
blowing up right now.
maybe we should read it.
It's gonna be a good summer read, I'm sure. I'm sure it'll be like good. I mean,
Listen,
maybe it won't, and then we'll get to roast.
I'll read it. I'll read it as long as there isn't a 20% off sticker on at Target.
Yeah, because it's fresh out. It shouldn't be
Yeah,
on sale yet.
shouldn't be on sale. Okay,
Sorry, Tessa
maybe
Bailey.
that'll be our next book. Hmm.
Okay, well, you announce it later and on our Instagram, and I'll just be surprised. How fun! Just put it on our story.
I'm gonna pick the least likely book that you would ever read. I'm kidding.
Oh dear. Please.
No,
I
we
know
could
I tortured you with this, but like, come
no,
on.
but I gave it a higher rating than you did.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true. You're welcome.
yeah, really. If anything, it was good.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. Sorry, Tessa Bailey lovers. We gave it our best shot.
Yeah, we
Let us
tried.
know your thoughts. Sorry, golf fans,
Sorry for the disgrace that we've caused.
to your sport. I'll do better. Not next
Well,
time because I'll never talk about golf publicly again.
we'll never research golf.
No, and I'm sorry.
Oh well.
Um, oh well. I hope you guys have a great week. Thanks for listening. Be sure to check back and see what Michelle picks.
Yay! I'm excited to see what I pick.
I'm excited. Do it tonight.
I might.
Okay.
Yay. Thank you
Bye.
guys for listening. Bye. Wow,
Gonna
we're so good.
go. Gosh. Okay. Only for you and only because you're having a really terrible day.
Only because your life sucks.
These are the only extreme circumstances that I show you pity for.
I and because I'm gonna cut this back into it, it's because I literally was just crying. It took me crying for Halle Bell to do the intro.
Oh God.